Hey guys, Drea Avent back for part 2 here at the W Hotel STK Restaurant in Westwood. We're here with Metta World Peace. In part 1, we talked Laker topics, but now I want to talk to him about coaching in the future and the charity endeavors that he's been working on. So I know that you mentioned in the future you want to coach.
Yes.
Tell me what excites you the most about taking it to the next level.
Yeah, I think coaching is great. When I first came into the NBA, I didn't know if I wanted to coach. I was always a student of the game. Always wanted to win. And as I became older, I found myself helping players more. I found myself coaching more. And I found myself listening to what Rick Adelman taught me. Coach Jackson, Coach Carlisle, Mike Brown, Isaiah Thomas, Larry Bird. I was
Great ones.
a lot of great ones. Mike D'Antoni, and now Coach Scott. And I found myself remembering everything. And when I go coach my little league team, I often put in the systems that I've been taught from the various coaches. And from coaching Palisades Girls High School last year, we was 3-10, and we won 20 in a row, and we won a championship. Which is pretty impressive. And it's exciting coaching players, putting in the system, and then having your system be put in place. And it's sort of a mirror image of you that plays out on the floor.
See it develop, yeah.
You just give them a little freedom, give them some structure, and then you just see what happens.
Let them run with it. And then you see it all come to fruition out there.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. I read you said that you definitely feel like you would have been in the Hall of Fame if you had done more stable things in your career. That really struck me.
Right.
What would you have changed throughout the course of your career?
Well, my career, it was up and down. I was always into the streets. So being into the streets, I carried that with me a lot into the NBA. That react first, hit first sort of mentality. Then getting in trouble. A lot of the dysfunctional baby mama drama things going on, which has nothing to do with the basketball
Keeping
business.
it 100.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then also the abuse of maybe alcohol beverages, and other things.
Getting a little too lit.
Getting a little bit too lit.
Getting it a little bit too lit. See, that's what happens.
And physically for an athlete, you can't perform at the highest level.
Right.
And I still performed at a high level. I don't know how. And then on the court, doing things that had nothing to do with the game, like the flagrant fouls, the technical fouls, disruptive in the locker room, not being a good teammate. All those things added up, and then they gave me only one Defensive Player of the Year award, only one All-Star, a couple All-Defensive teams, one championship ring, and that was not enough for me to make a case, to be a Hall of Famer.
Right.
Being on multiple teams. And so now I really don't have a case unless I do some other things, unless I get like a championship coaching.
Right. Well, that's what we're saying. Next level
Yeah.
stuff. Well, I really appreciate your honesty on that. I don't think a lot of people really know the in-depths on that. So thank you for sharing that. I want to talk a little bit about your charity work. I know family defense is something that's really big right now. Tell me about that.
Family defense is great. It's something that touches home for me. A lot of my friends that grew up playing ball with me, and a lot of them had no fathers in the household. And you ain't got no father in the household. The streets raise you.
Yep.
So you got a mother, and then the streets is basically your father. And that's how a lot of my friends grew up. Growing up, and my older brother doing 10 years in jail for drug trafficking. And then some of my other family members doing a couple other more years in jail for moving drugs, moving guns, different things like that.
A lot of hustling.
Not having a father to say, yo, what the hell are you doing? Don't do this or I'm going to whoop your ass.
Right.
And now a father says, yeah, whoop your ass. He could probably go to jail, because nowadays America don't really allow you to whoop your child ass when sometimes that's what they need.
Right.
But so with family defense, not only is that important, but on the radio today, all you hear is the music is promoting the disrespect of women.
Yeah.
And, it's always cool to get that next hot chick rather than to stay with your chick.
Or get a couple side chicks.
Right.
Keep your main chick and then have a couple side chicks everywhere. That's popular too, as we know.
And it's really crazy because, in one moment, I bet right now with the Bill Cosby situation, if you go in any urban radio station, they're probably telling you how guilty he is. But how guilty are they? for promoting all these records
Mm-hmm.
that's on the radio,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not going to be in court for any of that.
Right.
That's just as bad on the environment as the acts that Bill Cosby is allegedly accused of,
Mm-hmm.
with the 50 some odd women
Right.
that came out against him. And if you look at the radio, they influence millions of lives.
So you're saying rappers need to be more
It's
aware.
not the rappers, because the rappers.
But that's the music that's being promoted too, though.
Right, but if you only focus on the rappers, you forget about the distribution, you forget about the branding, you forget about what it takes to put a rapper on that radio.
Right.
Because the radio is not going to play a rapper that can't sell ads.
Right.
Okay?
Absolutely.
So if you look at it like that, America is very dysfunctional right now. Everything is twisted, and you got to be able to, dig deep into yourself and figure out what's right. Because, if the money's right, for the most part, the majority will go for the money. And so the money's saying, put out a record like this, it's okay to have 5 side chicks or something like that, then I'm going to do that record.
Yep.
Or especially if you're from Chicago, you're going to do a record that's going to get you the money.
Right.
Or you're going to have to rob somebody to get the money.
Right. So the pressure's on.
So the pressure's on, and it's up to people to give other outlets and another way of thinking.
Right.
So that's what family defense is about. It's definitely a street agenda. Everything I do is for the streets. I'm
That's
always,
what you know.
That's it. And I'm always thinking about the streets. And there's not no cookie cutter, charity.
It's raw.
It's real shit. It's real shit.
Okay. We raw right now.
We need to empower our youngsters to be better partners and better family members. To understand the importance, on having a strong family. You have a strong family, you can build dynasty.
Absolutely. Well,
Absolutely.
You spoke that real on a lot of topics. We
Absolutely.
hit on Bill Cosby. We hit on hip hop. We hit on side chicks. We got it all in there. I want to talk a little bit too about just the Artest Foundation. I know I've talked to your dad, and he has such a sense of pride on what you guys are doing with that. What's dropping with that? What are the new programs going on with the Artest Foundation right now?
So my dad is a late
You
bloomer.
started smiling so big on that. I love it.
I'm proud of my dad. He didn't finish school. He was boxing right before he had me, and then he stopped boxing. Didn't finish high school. And he got a job. And he's a late bloomer. Did not go to college. Know nothing about business. But he was starting his charity.
Yeah.
And I have my own charity. But it's great to see him at 6 years old, attempting to go back to school, attempting to do his own charity.
Yeah.
Which he don't understand the 501c3s. He's understanding. He's starting to understand it.
He's learning.
I'm excited for him. I'm excited that he's 6 years old and he's trying to, pursue as if he was 18 years old.
Right.
I told him.
Age is just a number.
That's it.
Age is just a number.
That's
it. That's it. Well, Metta, you're doing so many positive things, and keep everything up with family defense. That's helping a lot of kids in the streets. And
absolutely.
Definitely keep rocking it. With still much more to come with Metta World Peace. You know how we do it. Part 3. It's the 3-minute play with DA. This is personality based. I have a big personality. Metta has a big personality. So we're going to dig into the fun stuff. So make sure you keep a lookout for part 3. Metta, Drea, part 3.